guys, what do you think of my Capricorn season post? If you haven't checked it out, check the link in the description to my website and go ahead and read up on what the energy for Capricorn season is going to be like before we enter it tomorrow. We're hours, we're on the brim of a new season. And this upcoming Capricorn season makes it the perfect time to talk about Mars in the 10th house overlay. Why? Because Capricorn is the sign that rules the 10th house. And Mars is also exalted in Capricorn, so that means Mars is pumping at premium gas. It has all the resources and luck that it will need because Mars and Capricorn, they just understand each other. And it's very much the same feeling when Mars falls in the 10th house. So if you don't know, if it's your first time here, first of all, welcome. And we're doing a December synastry challenge on my channel where we're talking about overlays. We did moon overlays and we're almost done with Mars overlays. After this, we're gonna get to Venus overlays, but drop your synastry questions in the comments so that we can answer all the synastry questions all December long, okay? But let's get to it. When someone's Mars falls in your 10th house, this is one of the Mars overlays that's probably the least sexually charged. This is not to say that this is not a couple that has a good sex life or has sex quite a bit, but that's not what fuels you guys here. That's not the priority. That's the cherry on top. But first we gotta get some work done. Now you're starting to see where Capricorn comes in, okay? Work. When you guys meet, the house person is introduced to a whole new world that they've either never heard about, never seen before, or just never really had the access to until this point. Now this can be financial differences between you two, this can be racial differences between you two, you know, so that you can see how the other side lives, certain privileges that partner with race in this society. It can be cultural differences. The house person definitely sees the Mars person living in their world and admires the way that they navigate their situation. The house person sees the Mars person as an expert in what they do, their thing. And that definitely is part of the attraction. That ambition, that stature, the house person wants a piece of that more than anything. And this is not to say that you guys only get together because of some kind of like clout chase thing. This wouldn't work the same if it was just any other person in that culture, if it was just any other person in that field. This attraction only works because it's your charisma matched with your expertise. And your charm, your energy is one of a kind, okay? When the Mars person enters the house person's life, other people that are in the house person's life will start to see the house person acting very differently. A lot of things on the outside is going to change because the 10th house is a very public house. So if there's even the slightest change here, everyone sees, everyone notices. The Mars person is coming into the house person's life to help the house person discover their brand, but underneath that, their purpose. The Mars person is an inspiration, you know, a motivation, an example, a mentor. I'll give an example. One of the friends that I've had this overlay with, super close, when we were growing up, she was only friends with people of the opposite sex. And it was very taboo-ish at the time for a young lady to be surrounded by that many heterosexual men. My mom taught me to avoid men, so that was something that was a very new environment that I was being introduced to by being in her world. But in it, I learned a sense of confidence that I wouldn't have if I was only surrounded by women. You know, there's something to learn from every type of person, and this is what helps your growth. This is what helps you develop as a soul growth. Sometimes it does get a little bit blurry for the Mars person because they at times want it to be a little bit more romance than it is, and this one can kind of get caught up to where you guys are doing things more for the optics rather than for each other. This one too can run the risk of where you feel like your partner is your client as opposed to a lover. So this is an overlay that works really well with people who are in business together, but in romance, it can be a little tricky. With the sex, it's like, because it's not priority, these people can go a long time without it. But when they're having it, it's like, you know, it's a whole season on and then a whole season off. Off season, on season. But the house person just needs to remember to be attentive. Remember that the Mars person is more than just this example that's in your life. They are someone who wants you to walk alongside them, not behind them. If you guys can match each other's energy, each other's ambition, and really see each other and see yourselves and as at the same level, that's when they say the Mars in 10th overlay becomes a power couple. It's giving Jay-Z and B. But not really, because we don't cover anyone else's relationship. You know what I'm saying? The energy of like, we are the two most influential people in the world. And it's because we have each other. It can be a long time before this relationship really gets to the peak of its abilities. But if you guys can get a decade down in the books, all of that's gonna happen for the rest of the years after is just reaping rewards, reaping the harvest you've sown. One thing about this, once these two meet each other, their outlook on the world is never gonna be the same. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for that one. Super chill. We're gonna start to do some early morning uploads, so stay tuned for a video coming soon up after this. Love ya.